Let's roll. Co-pilot on the passenger side, you so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. Co-pilot on the passenger side, you so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. She give me a bit of her love. Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome to another one, man. It's your boy, Rob One, and this is Sparking Conversation special segment we call Convo Corner. And on Convo Corner, we like to say that we like to talk to the people who went above and beyond what people told them that they could be. The one thing about it, though, I love when we have conversations where people come from a background where their foundation supported their growth, their movement, what was inside of them. Didn't try to change them into being what they thought would be susceptible to society, which I know a lot of us have to deal with. You know, a lot of us grow up in families where, you know, if there's anything that's going to cause extra out of just surviving, you're not about to be a part of it. So if that's something that's in you, you're not going to get it. But then there's those of us who had certain people in our lives and family members and different people who cultivated the gifts that we had inside of us and allowed us to be able to explore those things. So many people had to find their purpose through another purpose, right? And what I mean by that is like sometimes by mistake. Some people have to go through the worst things in life to understand that this is where they were supposed to go. And I like that when we have on Convo Corners, all the people that people they look at as celebrities or people who've made it to a certain level, but they don't understand the backstory. They don't understand that a lot of people had to go through what they had to go through in order to be what people consider successful or celebrity or whatever that is. We know that there's a lot of people who live the life of that image and, you know, really don't have the things to back up what they do. But in this particular life, we love to celebrate those who believed enough in themselves to say, hey, I'm going to do what's that inside of me. And I'm so grateful for today's guest that we have today that we're going to speak to because as y'all know, on my platform, I talk about a lot about health and health is wealth and how no one is coming to save us. And how some of us, you know, just using the gift that God gave us, we had to go through so much adversity and so much trial just to be able to bring that information to the world, right? So today's guest is amazing, but before we get into her story and everything that's going on with her, I got to bring up my co-host, Gloria, because she's the reason how we able to connect with a lot of these people and bring them on the platform. So I'm forever grateful for her. So we got to make sure we give her flowers and her props all the time. So let's bring her up real quick. Gloria, what's going on? Oh, wow. So we can't hear you at all right now. And I know we've been trying to deal with it in the background. So I don't know what it is, but we got to figure it out. You just try to log out and log back in, and we're going to hopefully get through this with you involved, right? Because we want to hear what you guys say, right? And we know how this technical stuff can happen sometimes. So log off, log back on. I'm going to go ahead and bring our guest up. And as we continue, I just bring you in and we'll figure it out. Okay. All right. So, hello, Kelly.
How you doing?
I'm good. It might not be her. It might be me because now I can't hear you. Hold on.
You can't hear me?
This is crazy. So look, I'm like I said earlier, I'm so grateful to have you on the platform. I'm glad that you could be here.
Well, you know what? I'm always grateful to be able to have conversations, real raw conversations. So, you know, why wouldn't we have talked? Why wouldn't we have met up? I thank Gloria for that. That's pretty dope that we get to talk right now. I can't wait to hear some of the questions she have or comments.
Yeah. But you know, that's the thing about that, right? Because you know, in the space that you're in, there's a lot of people who would love to get their your attention enough to have conversations with you, especially about what it is that you do, right? Because you come from a line of healers, you know, in the sense of using everything that God gave us to heal us. And I think that alone is a reason why people would want to talk to you. And even if they can't get to you in the way that they can, like on a platform like this, just to have that ability to do so is amazing. I just want to be honest with you because, you know, the knowledge that you possess as well as the background that you come from. It's one that people need to respect, and at any given time, they can have you in a position where they can speak to you. They should always be able to do that in a respectful way, and yeah, and
That's
be able to
funny.
take what you give.
That's funny because I run into people at the grocery store all the time and they don't know if they should say hi. I say, you better say hi to me. We better have a
Right,
conversation. I think our community, we're all together. We're shoulder to shoulder. There's not one in front of the other. Everybody has knowledge to share. So if all
right,
of us have gifts, then we all need to be together. We all need to see each
true,
other. Listen, I ask of my clientele with my company, Sebi's Daughters, that you tell me what you think. You tell me what you're feeling. But see, that's the Dr. Sebi way. So I don't know any other way to be. I don't think I want to be anything else. I like being
right,
to my legacy. My lineage is very important. Are there many healers in the world? I think that my father, Dr. Sebi, was one of many that had this journey. He was just willing to step up with all the adversities that came along with it. So
right,
I was raised by a man who was beat down for his beliefs.
right.
And that right there is a different kind of thing. And it's not very popular and it ain't for punks. So I think I just always look at it like a gift and a curse when you're younger and nothing but inspirational as I've gotten older.
Yeah, and which is crazy because if you would think that a lot of times, whenever children grow up in a household where they have a parent or both parents that are as in demand as your dad was during his time, right? You know, sometimes the kids grow up with that sense of neglect or void, right? Because the
Yeah.
parent or the person they look for was always off and they looked like they was always off doing for other people and not them. So the fact that I've noticed how you and some of your other siblings that I've seen in different platforms, you guys never take that approach when it comes to your dad. You always look at it from him teaching you how to be for other people as well too. And I think that's important. So for those that may not know who you are and who you know, just can you tell them real quick before we get too far into it exactly who you are and what you represent? Saying Dr. Sebi's daughters, I want them to know you that you are his daughter for real. But go ahead if you don't mind.
Hey guys, my name is Kellie Bowman, CEO of Sebi's Daughters, but also the daughter of the legendary Dr. Sebi. Uh, and I'm not the only daughter. I'm not the only family member, but I'm one who chooses to stand up and trust the journey of our family legacy. I think that's important. I guess that's who I am.
Yeah. Which I
I
like the
don't guess.
fact that
That's who I am.
yeah, that's who you are because legacy is important, right? Especially when it comes to black men, right? Because our it's a thing when it comes to us, right? Like whenever we live our lives, we always wonder how a person would think about us when we're not here. What
Mhm.
can we leave behind? Like what is our legacy outside of whatever a person feel like financially we can provide? And knowledge and to be able to teach you how to move forward is one of the gifts that we rarely get credit for as men, right? Or as fathers or as leaders. I mean, of course, they have examples of people who haven't really stepped into their role, but for you growing up with such a, you know, your dad in the position that he was in, you know,
Mhm.
he had to put himself in a position where he knew exactly what he knew, but people kept challenging what he knew, right? Kept trying to
Yeah.
make him prove whether he, you know, well, if you say if they say this, then you do that. Prove this, bring this back. All this, you know, it was always this tug of war thing to just try to discredit your dad. So when it come down to you, do you feel like as part of your legacy that you had to pick up through any of that extra adversity? Being at the times are a little modern now, but are you having to deal with any of that adversity as well too?
It came with the territory. I mean, I was very young when he went to jail. I
Mm,
think that's a hard thing to say there was any other choice. It was never a choice. It was always struggle. There was always angst to being brought up by such a man. Was he there all the time? I didn't have time to fantasize about what he didn't do, what he should have done for us. We were busy in the work. I'm a worker. I'm not a watcher. And I think that's what he raised me to be, was a doer. So a lot of people are followers. I was led by someone who's a leader. So when you are taught in that way of leadership, and he's coming along with all these new thoughts, so they say, was it new to be true to the earth? It was never new. That's not new. So the fight for the truth about how the body can heal itself is not a marketing tool. It's a tool for life. It's your medicine. It's your real truth. So yeah, we come to understand that not by just what he taught me, but it was what he behaved as. It was not, that was the love language. So we didn't get to separate business from, personal. It's all together. It's all relative. So yeah, it was definitely different talking to some of your friends and you telling them some of the things that you go through and some of the things that you eat. And that's not what they do. You realize there's a little bit of a difference, but I think every family has something to offer. But within where we were as children, but what I identified as, and I try to keep that very clear when it comes to my company, that this was the raw truth about how a woman was raised by Dr. Sebi. His, Alfredo Bowman was a very calculated, moving man. And so as he raised us and, the court case happened, was he afraid to go to jail? Was he afraid to stand up for the truth? No, because he was a sick man and it healed him. And you could not take that away from him or any of the ones who went to court. It's funny because this month we're celebrating his 10-year anniversary. And when he died, I decided to go a little deeper into, I knew who he was when he was with me. I knew who he was when he showed up. Everything that I had to do as a father, whether it's having children or participate in something, I used to teach. And I would call him up when I got to nutrition. And I was teaching beginning nursing courses. And I would call him up to teach the part when it came to natural health. And I just put him on speakerphone and let him teach my class.
That's so amazing.
And some of my students, when they contact me today, it was interesting because the information never stopped. And I believe your platform is what that's all about, is continuing to share, because a lot of people don't get this at home. So this is his 10-year anniversary. So I dived a little deeper than I have every year since he's been gone, since 2016. Right. So I spent time in New York and I went and got the court case. Wow. And this court case was crazy when I finally got it. And it took me a long time to get. This was part of my love legacy for him. But I think that I wanted to know, because I was so young, like, what happened? So this 10-year anniversary, I took a page or two every day to dive deep. But I went to New York. I went to the court system where he was. I got to go in places. They were very respectful. They showed love. And I got to walk in that area because, remember, I was a teenager when this happened. So my understanding about what was going on was only from a 15-year-old child of his.
Perspective. Yeah.
But now I'm grown. Right. Now I'm looking at it from a little bit more of an advantage as an adult. My maturity has kicked in. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about him and what he had to go through, and I appreciate it. But as a child, we selfish. We think, what's going on? We want to be there. We want to understand, but it's not all for that time. So at this time in my life, I was 15 then, I'm 54 now. Right. So I think the crazy part is talking to the young ones about how you can tie into your parents at different levels of your life, but it's going to take patience and maturity, but love all together. So through his journey with me, it was about love. It was about not a selfish love, like you got to be what I think you need to be. How do we ask that of anybody?
Exactly.
So this being in New York, on the steps of the Supreme Court where he was, going into the building, taking the court case with me, just enjoying understanding that time and absorbing it gave me more interest into that part of my father's life and what
Exactly.
Alfredo Bowman did to become Dr. Sebi.
Exactly. And for those of y'all that were watching, y'all wondering what she's talking about, she's referring to the Supreme Court case that where they tried to say that he was making up the fact that, but he didn't say it. I want most one of y'all, all y'all that's watching, to understand it was the people that he was helping that was saying what he was doing. He didn't go around bragging saying, "Oh, I can heal you. I have this to do that." No, he helped people, and because they went and told their doctors, doctors went and told on him, and then boom, now he's in the Supreme Court. And which was so crazy, y'all, what she was saying is that during that case, in order for him, he had to bring back a certain amount of people, right, to testify to say that he did it, and more than what they asked for came. So I just want y'all to know a little bit, just in case for y'all are saying, like, what do you mean by him going to jail? No, they really, for what he was doing to help people get better, they really locked him up for it. And I think when it comes down to all of us in this whole life that we live as colored people, right? Or indigenous people is what I like to call us. And, I rarely like to call us black people because that only helps us identify to a color, right? And not a legacy, not what we are as a group of people. But regardless of how they want to look at us, in this thing that we've all had to do in our fight for freedom, we've had to continuously prove ourselves over and over again, but being called guilty before innocent, no matter what. And I think that was enough to go through, and he went through it and he beat that. And I just think that's amazing. So for those of y'all that's watching, y'all need to know a little bit more about that. Y'all need to look that up because that was pivotal in the way things had to go moving forward. So let me ask you something, Kelly. Did you grow up in Honduras or in the States?
No, I was born in Carson. He first landed in California in Compton, but I was born in
In
Carson.
California?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
California.
And so did you happen, but so you moved or you lived in Honduras, so, or you used to
No,
go,
that's
or how did that work?
yeah, that's where he was born, and that's where we would go to visit. Well, he lived here, but you can visit your cousins. But that's where he was born. That's where my grandmother was until they visited the States. So that's his birthplace. But and I have a couple of brothers and sisters who were born in California. But when he hit the States, he had a little bit of a journey. He came in through Louisiana. From Louisiana, he went to Los Angeles, and that's where he met my mom. And I guess I'm the history of that. But he was born there. Him and his brothers
Okay.
and sisters were born in Honduras, which is a
Okay. Yeah.
beautiful
Yeah.
place. It's to visit. It's like it's a second home for me. When you go,
Mm.
it's when I would visit him there, it's a beautiful place to be. But it's part of my history. I don't know any other place to kind of compare it to, but it's a really beautiful place. And where he was born was Ianga. So he was not born where the village is that he created the natural healing village, but it was in Honduras.
Yeah. So with that, you growing up, let's talk a little bit. How was it whenever you first came into the realization of who your dad was? Where were you in a position of, like most people when we grow up, or most of us when we grow up with our parents, a lot of times we just want to be kids, right? That's all we want to do. We don't really, you know what I'm saying? We don't really care too much about what they got going on unless they make us figure out what they got going on. So
Hmm.
for you, was it ever a struggle for you in that particular space of understanding, like, you know, you come from a lineage of that particular thing of helping people heal, or was it like any type of rebellious thing from you when it came to that because of the life of your dad lived?
No, I think you are who your parents mold and shape you to be it to some extent. I mean, as you get older, there's a second autonomy when you get to like 15, 16, you want your own responsibility, your own way of life, but your base is what it is. I mean, the base of my teaching, the first classroom was the garden. So it's like that's not something you can easily just, it's just the way it was for me. But
Wow.
again, as a child, you're going to think as a child, as you progress in life, to think, hey, watching him help a sick person, watching him hold a baby that was just born when the mother was told she couldn't have kids, watching that endearing moment teaches you love. You can't put it all, you put it in a space, but watching him help someone else was a beautiful thing. I think that's why it was very important to me to, continue that, because I love helping people. But he taught love, because to teach people the truth is to tell people, that you love them. I hate when people talk to me and they give me fluff and lies because I'm not worth the truth. No, he taught the truth
Wow.
because we need to know it. You're sick because you've been poisoned for years, and you need to know you can do better. And I want to help you love yourself. You can't love yourself if you can't see yourself. So I think
Wow.
that was one of the most important things that is taught, because you can throw medication at it, you can throw exercise at it, you can throw different things at it. But until you get in your head the truth about life and understand it's a journey and it takes your participation and it takes love for self, you're nowhere. You'll keep on
Right.
this. Yeah, you'll keep on this. I consider it like a hamster wheel of
So well.
psychosis. You're continuing to do the same thing over and over again. I wanted
Yeah.
to understand from him what drove him to be that, but it was his health conditions. And
Yep.
little, as I got older and understood, and I went to nursing school to understand something that he knew, and he felt like I could learn more from him than going to nursing school. But the anatomy and physiology of health, disease, and the disease process was interesting to me. So it sparked something in me. I don't think I went to nursing school to become a nurse manager, to become a doctor. That wasn't it. It was to understand the language that the communities have been told. They have been told that
Right.
these pills are necessary, but that's not what I was told first. So I take it and put it all together and realize that we have been lied to and poisoned,
Wow.
and how do
Yeah.
we effectively deal with our community. So that's the
Right.
way, like I said, that's the way I saw it. I can't name it for anybody else but my walk, because it wasn't traditional. And I'm grateful that it
Mm.
wasn't traditional. And, people laugh at me. They go, "You look just like him." I don't think
Yeah.
that I'm just like my dad, but I think I want to be a good representation of what he taught.
Yeah. Which is amazing, right? Because very few people even reverence their dad. Let's just be real. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just one of the things that come along with it. So to hear people really give their dad the credit for what those things were in their life that they felt like was important, I think that's great. You know what I mean? Not just being great providers, but being able to give them things in life that they can later on reflect on and be like, yeah, my dad taught me that. And because what he taught me, I'm able to do X, Y, Z. Because what he taught you, you have a business, and that business has taken you all over the world. It looks like you
Yeah.
have been on tours with other artists, and which I'm interested to understand how that worked out, how that collaboration come about. But I could understand, yeah, because I was like, okay, so she on tour with the art, okay, so she must be helping with their nutrition on a tour, or what? Or does she sing? Is she a background dancer? Like, wait, she do all, like, how did this work? Because when I saw it, I was like, okay, so you know what? This could work. She probably is a thing. Like you can't tell. Like yo, what you do on top of what you do. So no, I think that's important, and I'm glad that you said that. Because I wanted to make sure that the audience get from the fact that you know you're a living testimony of what it means to teach your daughters, right? To teach him how to go, to teach him how to be. Because a lot of times, a lot of women, when you have conversations with them, they suffer from that, missing that relationship. They didn't have a relationship with a dad, right? That, they can use those teachings. And a lot of them look for that type of energy from men, and you already know how the cycle goes with that, because I'm sure what you can help us out with that, which was my next thing, outside of the body that you help people, is there anything times that you found yourself having to help balance their mental
It's
as
all in
well,
it.
with you being a woman, with you being,
Yeah. Yeah, because I was taught by a man and a woman, and I'm grateful that I had parents. But even those who do not have parents, you have people you look up who trained you, who wanted to mold you. There's always somebody that wants to offer you good advice. God doesn't leave us without that. How you take it and use it is up to you. And so, um, how I've been able to handle that is, growing up, it was all of it. It was all relative, like I said before, but mental goes with it. But if your diet ain't right, and you out here living on vices out here in the world, you can't get to that resolute because you're not doing the things that it requires. But if you put in the work on your body, you're able to get more out of it than most. And my father was one of them. And he showed me through his diet that, the balance can be there. So as a woman, again, I had questions. It's like, Poppy, oh my goodness, I'm almost old enough to have a boyfriend. You have your cycle, you have your woman issues, but coming from a father and a mom, you're just like, okay, I got good answers, but what did I do with those answers? So it's always going to be mental, because we have the choice. We're not robots. We have the choice to make great choices, good choices, and not so good choices, but it's going to come out in some way. We will have an answer in some way. So it's always mental. So to answer your question, do I do a lot of work of mental and physical? They have to go together. Unless your mind is on what you're doing, you ain't going to do it. You already know. You only do what you like to do. Young people right now are tying into a part of their lives. They do what they like to do. They want to be seen. They want to be heard, but make sure that it's the truth, because later on, you don't want it to pay you in the way that you're not looking for it to go. So, having that mental work is part of it, but you got to be clear enough to see it. So if your diet is full of toxicity, you're not going to get there. Acid every day is not going to give you some blended alkaline thought or some really, nice aspirations. You're going to be a follower your whole life, not a leader. And I think that's what my father taught was you have to absorb what it is that God gave you in here. It's always in here. It's never going to be you're going to just learn from someone else. They will enhance who you already are, but make sure you participate in your own wellness.
Right.
You can't get nowhere following somebody else. Why are you not a leader?
Right. Right. Yeah, and asking those hard questions, right? Not just
Yeah.
accepting the whole this is passed down through my family, or I'm suffering
Yeah.
through family-based issues, or all my family got diabetes,
That's
or
too
all
many
my family got.
excuses than answers. And see, if we live in a area of we're always looking at the excuses on why we don't have the answers, and that wasn't the way I was brought up by him. He was always searching for the answers, even when he failed. That's part of the process. So when you are going through something, you recognize that, hey, listen, I'm going to have to fall down and learn how to get up. And then when I get up, I'm going to have to learn how to stay up. How do I do that? These are the questions. It's not what you can't do. It's definitely what you can within where you're at. And at different points in life, people, TV, film, and music, I've dealt with a lot of clients who do amazing things, but it's the same focus. They
Yeah.
choose to focus on certain things, and we delight in what they offer us and what we see on TV or what we participate in the events that they're in. But their mindset, they want to know that they can do better in the area that they're focused on. And I always,
Right.
and every client I have, no matter if you're in TV or you're a teacher, no matter what you're doing, it's like, where are your thoughts? Where is your focus? What is your truth? And my goal is to be that cheerleader, to give suggestions, not to judge. I don't judge
Right.
you, Sebi's daughters. That's not my goal, to judge you. It is to ignite you to a better thought about what you're doing. It's to suggest giving you something that is more elevated than where you're at. And I think
Right.
that as people, and I think your platform is about that. I think Gloria is definitely about that. I love you,
Yeah.
Gloria.
Thank you.
But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think upbuilding and elevating each other is the dopest thing in the world. And
Yeah.
through natural methods. And natural
Yeah.
methods start with love. And so if we can break through that, the mental, we can get to that part mentally, the body gonna follow.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like that. And I could tell by your energy that you don't really like excuses.
No, I don't,
So
because
I
excuses are
could
going to
tell.
keep you from living your best life. Your goal is to, between the day you're born and the day you die, is to focus on something good. So if I keep infusing good, it will not leave time for all the excuses, because there will be trouble. There will be problems. There will be rain and thunder, but they will also be sunshine
Sunshine.
and beautiful stars and beautiful clouds. So my goal is always to help you see that area of life, because it's coming for you, but it's your mindset. It's not that it's
Mm,
coming, it's how you think about it. It's how you weigh in on
mm,
it. And I think that's the way I was taught. And it wasn't that he always had to sit down and have a conversation. We took a lot of walks, and we talked. And I found that, if you know your parents, some of the things that they do to help them think is some of the things you need to do to help you think. So I take walks still today, and it releases endorphins and it helps me to think. But I remember taking walks with him, and we would talk about certain things, and it would lead me to meditate on life. And I appreciate that. But Dr. Sebi didn't only inspire, who's in his community. This is all around the world. And
yes.
I think that's one of the things, that when you are telling your truth, it touches more than you. So we can
Yes.
see that it wasn't by all of his videos and the products he had. It was the mindset of the man, and that's what I teach at Savi's
Mm,
Daughters, is not just the products that I have, that I offer. It's the mindset in which it was made for you. It is what we're
mm,
doing together to exchange encouragement. This is how it works, and it should touch the world, because on every corner there should be a Dr. Sebi.
yep.
Why is there not?
Yes. That's true. And you're right. And I say that a lot when it comes down to us as a community. When we think about businesses, we should open up, or franchises we should stand behind. Just like how they have certain um regular drugstores almost on every corner. If you kind of look at CVS, Walgreens, and all these other places, or liquor stores, or wherever else that we can look at and say, yo, they got a lot of these everywhere. Why don't we have these? And even
Mhm.
when it comes to like the natural stores, or like those type of so-called markets where you could go get like herbs and dry and all these other things, and even those are very far and few in between in certain
Mhm.
things, right? You got to
Right.
drive across town to get to them because they're not readily available. Like a McDonald's could be every 3 blocks on the same street, and you'll see a McDonald's, like, right? So I'm saying, like, you're right. It does need to be one in more than just one place, and it should be that we look at those as businesses that we open and franchise. I don't know if that's something that you do as a business model, but that those stores can be open, brick and mortars as well, to be open for people to be able to frequent and be able to help themselves. I was going to ask you this question too before we actually get into the products that you do have. Um, Whenever it came down to you learning these products and how to move them and how to cultivate them and stuff like that, was that a lot of your dad sitting you guys down and showing you and teaching you how to do these things, or was it more of you having to just watch and
You
in that perspective?
you wish that was the case. We were child laborers. You wish that we sit and watch. Oh my
Oh
God.
man, nah, y'all had
Oh
to put
my
it in.
gosh. I wish my other sister was on here, because she would tell you there is no watching. There is just
Yeah.
doing. There is, oh
Mm,
my gosh. So while he was traveling doing all these lectures, who do you think was in the kitchen?
right. Oh, you know what? But people need to know that, right? Because what they don't think, they think that he magically did it. He went and did all this stuff and came back. They don't know that y'all was in the kitchen whipping when y'all was little. That's crazy.
That's what's up. That is exactly what happened. There was factories, from Honduras, Puerto Rico, New York, LA, like There was no worker. He had kids. He made the employees.
Yeah. I like that. I like
Yeah, back in the
that.
80s when the village was open, there's workers for that, of course, construction and things like that. But no, there was no sit and watch. There was participate. You will be participate because see these kind of things, this training is necessary for you to teach yourself and your children and your children's children. So
Right.
this is, most families, you have something that you do together. You guys learn how to bake mama's cake or barbecue like dad. Well, then we had herbs. It was that you learned and you learned young and you learned a respect for it. And that's just that. Period. There was nothing else. So yeah,
Right.
so to this day, of course, we still have to use these methods, not just for our clientele. At Sebi's Daughters, it's about the rawness of the products we use. And we've come down to a place in progression that our food is now ultra processed.
Yes.
The kids are tying into different foods, and I get it, but you need a product that doesn't have 14 ingredients in it. You still need to know the way. You still need to know what to do. So Sebi's Daughters keeps to the trend, to the routine of having a product that does nothing but build the body. Every product we have builds the body, not just one area, all parts of the body. And that's the way it has to be done because you don't know, because you can't diagnose yourself, you can't see into that, but you need a product just like what Mother Earth makes. It helps the entire body, not just one specific. It may zero in on a couple of different areas, but it still has something for the entire body. So me being a nurse had a lot to do with the way I wanted to structure it. Of course, keep the same base, but there's a lot of people. There's more people since he died in 2016 till now that are on a lot of different medications, whether it's something for enhancement or it's chronic diseases. So my product has got to be able to speak to that. They should be able to take that in order to where they're weaning off of those things, but it has to be compatible. And I think that's what, the chemistry behind why I came out with Sebi's Daughters and why that medical background was necessary, not to take people into medical, but to teach them how to make that transfer over to natural. Yeah, because they had a lack of knowledge. They didn't know it was possible, but the goal is to make a product that's a soft, gentle transfer so that they can understand, because again, we're all sick. We're all poisoned. And so we need something that's going to make that transfer that's helpful to someone, encouraging. So yeah, no, we went to bed smelling like sea moss and all these other just everything. Man.
Y'all was rolling. Well, but you know what? Like I said, it's so important that people understand that because you sell products, and I know sometimes, I've seen certain videos of yours, and you was like, "Yo, this is hand poured, and this is made with love, like from my hands." And I want people to really know that, like, yo,
Yeah, I'm
listen,
still in the
she
kitchen.
not just saying. Yeah, she's not saying this as a selling point.
Yeah.
She's not trying to tell y'all that to make y'all. No, she definitely grew up this way, and in the same token, kept those same traditions in order to have the same quality of product, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I just think that's important. I don't know if anybody else has ever asked you that, but I just think that they need to know, like, you're not just out here handling products or trying to promote a product and or off your dad. You're saying, listen, even when my dad was popping, I was in the kitchen. So let me just let y'all know that. It wasn't like I just picked up some stuff later on and was like, let me live off of this. No, I'm continuing. And that is the best part about having these conversations like this, is for people to understand the background, the why, the foundation, not just the what. And what it is, and yes, I'm this and I'm that. No, I think it's dope because Gloria had a question where she wanted to know about the products, right? So
Okay.
And the different products that you guys do have, and and what do they help with, because we know that what you hit the nail on the head, when people are dealing with certain type of things, they don't know that there's something that grows on this earth that is made for that. They only know, I got to go to the doctor. And whatever they say, that's what we're gonna go with, because I don't know. So let's talk a little bit about some of the products that you know, and I know you have some that are top sellers versus other things, but let's just talk about some of them. You know, we know that your dad was big on sea moss, burdock root, bladderwrack, um, things of that nature. But let's talk a little bit more about some of the other things that you guys have, because oregano oil is important. Just so many other products. So let's just talk about that real quick. And with Dr. Sebi's daughters, if you don't mind, just give people a small little rundown of some of the things that you have cultivated and you know you want people to know about.
Well, the first thing I want people to know is that most times, if you have not, you just have a traditional diet and you don't have a upper level of nutrition and you're looking for body performance, you want a product that is whole. You want to make sure that where it's grown, that it's organic, that it's not a hybrid, and that people are at a level that is going to not only help you, temporary, but permanently something you can have in your cabinet for always to keep you managed with your health. Okay, so the goal of Sebi's Daughter is to do just that. No dyes, no fragrances, no GMOs, nothing that would cause the body to have some adverse reaction or no reaction at all, or to cause acid. So we're looking to get your body out of an acidic state. So the goal is to alkaline and elevate your body's experience so your immunity is up, your energy is up, filtering organs are up, your gut health is up, your microbiome is healthy. So the goal is always to make sure that you have a whole product like that. So Sebi's Daughters, not only, do we have the sea moss, and I will always think that, Dr. Sebi Alfredo Bowman, my father, is the architect of the sea moss movement. And what that means is it carries so many minerals. Everybody knows about it, but not everybody knows where it is grown with its highest level of nutrition. And that's the goal with Sebi's Daughters, is to give you the highest level of nutrition. Not only do I have the sea moss, but I also have mixed it in a peel with high level of elderberry. And so in one peel, we've put this, and if you go on Sebi's Daughters.com, you'll see this one peel, and you can actually see it. You can actually open it. These peels are encapsulated by me, by my company. We do not send it to China. We do not go to Canada. We get it where it is indigenously grown, and we process it with us only. So everything stays here so that I can know what exactly we're doing, because that's the way I was raised. There is no, now the capsule itself, I don't make the vegetable capsule.
Right.
But it's the highest quality of capsule that you can get that digests really easy in the gut, that allows it to be released, extended release, to go into the blood system to do what it's supposed to do. Easily transferred through the kidneys, the liver. Every product I have is easily digestible. So the goal is always to have a product line that gives you that highest level of nutrition. So elderberry is in there. We have chlorophylls that are in there. Of course, burdock is in there. We have so many different hard-hitting alkaline herbs that my father talked about in different combinations, but not large combinations. Because we're at a time in our life right now, and I adjust to the world's conditions, but our livers and kidneys and heart are taking a big hit. Our pancreas is taking a super hit because of ultra processed foods, environmental issues. So the goal is to always tap in with Sebi's Daughters to streamline something that will elevate the body at an alkaline level so that it can maintain itself. That is always the goal, to teach that disease cannot live in an acidic, in an alkaline body. But if you continue to be acidic, then you're asking disease of yourself. You're asking to die by default. So Sebi's Daughters' goal is to always to elevate your nutrition, even if it's just one pill to start that journey.
Yeah. But I think that's the good thing about it, because like you said, you guys list whatever's in your products, right? So a person, if they needed to research what is elderberries, what does elderberry do, or any other different herbs that you guys, because chlorophyll, like I know most people don't understand the properties of chlorophyll and what that does and how that helps with the inside of your body, as well as the oregano oil, like we said earlier.
Yeah, I grow that. I grow it right there in my office. And I pick it.
Oh, really?
I have the hydroponic because growing it outside, I would like it a little bit more curated for me. So I grow it inside. I pick it myself. I dry it. We get it. Most people don't realize
Wow.
that's a whole situation. Like a lot of people wonder why you don't see me. Like I'm not big on advertisement about that particular product. It's one of our latest and greatest for the gut, especially what's going on now. But I gotta grow it.
Wow.
Yeah, I got it. And so
Yeah.
yeah, it's about the growing. It's about the knowing from process from seed to selling is my pleasure. And I don't get a lot of,
Wow.
I'm not out here a lot talking only because I'm working. I'm working so that we can have a better education, a better form of our food because we're in a fight out here. I sometimes call
Yeah.
myself a superhero for the natural, but it's almost extinct to be organic. It's
Right.
almost at that point, like we're not quite seeing what's going on here. Like the goal of GMO is to monopolize our eating and to give us less nutrition. And the lack of nutrition means disease. And disease
Yes.
means you're going to stay in hospitals where there's not a lot of workers anymore. There's not a lot of hospital beds, and we sure don't have insurance right now that we can afford. So everybody's running to figure it out. Well, I think I'm gonna keep with the same thing, and that is Dr. Sebi was right. Let's have conversations in our home. Let's start growing things at home. Let's start being
Yeah.
intentional with who we are in our homes, at our kitchen tables, and see what we can do out, in the community for each other.
And you know what? That's important. I think that's another thing that's missing too, is people taking the time to learn how to grow different things and realizing like even in your living space what you can grow. Because like you said, you got hydroponics, you growing in the office. Do people understand that you can do that? Most people only equate hydroponics to weed, right? Because they understand at one point that's how the weed. I mean, I'm just being honest. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
what's up. I got
Like,
you.
you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, she call that hydro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
yeah.
understand.
But anyway,
I'm with
so
you.
so most people only understand it from that perspective, not understanding the process of being able to grow through water, right? And so in those particular instances, I think those are certain things that are missing too in conversations, right? The ability to learn how to grow different things, so you don't have to rely on so much of what you got to go get from other places. I did want you to, if you could, just break it down a little bit because some people the elderberries itself, because I know there are so many different products now that are being marketed with elderberry out of nowhere. Like they coming from they got a syrup, they got all kind of things. But I still don't think people understand like what the properties of what elderberry really does because everything is hidden behind a flavor right now because everything they selling with elderberries got some type of flavor to it. Like you said, you don't do no dyes, chemicals, no fragrances, none of that. But people are buying these products and that's what they're doing. Elderberry tasting like grape syrup. Like, no, that's not the vibe at all. But can you tell people a little bit about elderberries and its properties if you can, just a little bit?
Well, funny enough, I think chemists figured it out early on that one of the first uh, cold medicines in the whole world was elderberry.
Mm,
Before you had different cold medicines that you see that are marketed today, it came from nature. Everything is trying to mimic nature, but nature did not get it wrong. You just want it to be marketable. And you have to figure it out. So you have to make things faster to get to the masses. So now you're adding in different preservatives and sugars to make sure that it gets to a place, 3 weeks from now. Unfortunately, that's not my process. I like to keep it raw and natural, whether it's what I say or is what I do. So elderberry, what it does is it heightens your vitamin C. It just brings it all the way up, and that helps immunity. But it also gets rid of mucus. It is those two things. It does other things, but those two things together will help you fight a cold. It will help you fight the flu, any kind of virus. It's there to meet the virus and elevate your experience. But that's why I was mentioning that pill that we have, that capsule. The reason why is because if you open it, you can actually see the elderberry. You can actually see this.
mhm.
You can actually put it under a microscope, do whatever you want, because the truth is the truth about nature. But elderberry itself removes so much mucus, but you cannot add all of those things. You're killing the literal process, chemically speaking. You're killing the process of it giving you what it needs to get rid of those things in your body. So I sell a lot of CMOS gel. I sell it in different forms. But I never cut it with sugar. Why? Because once you do that, whether it's elderberry, CMOS gel, I don't care what you do. Once you start adding even natural fruits to it, you are taking that product and changing it. You need to let it live. Let it be the celebrity. Let it grow. Let it show you what it can do. But when you try to add too much put some filters on top of it, put some do all of this different stuff to it, you've just killed who it really is.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Nature was
And that's
born raw for a reason. It's
yo.
it was made good. So, but young people, I love that I have 18 to 80. And when they want to talk to me, they through DM or email about those kind of questions about education behind it. I'm looking, I front load the website to give you information, but I'm looking for them to ask questions like what you're asking right now. What does it do? How about while you're Googling what you want to buy in a phone or something else, Google what I just told you. Google what you see on my site. See how you're going to live the rest of your life, because this fad is only for this season, but elderberries forever. And I think that's important. Elderberry is going to take you and your kids somewhere that you need to go. So, but if you catch it early enough, you won't get a cold through the year. You won't get the flu during the year, but you have to have a certain amount in your blood system in order to get there. Anything good needs to be done on a repetitive course, whether it's mental or physical. So you have to understand anything good is going to give it back, but be patient and watch what it do. It's the cold-blooded truth about life. So when people start talking to me about the product, it's like, again, it's not personal, it's not professional, it's both. But it's all love.
Yeah. And that's why, and I'm glad you said that, because that's what I was going to ask you. I was going to tell you, I was going to say, how about consistency, about letting people know about how you have to be consistent with how you treat in your body. It's not like a quick fix where you just take something for 30 days and then you fall away and then come back to it once you get sick. Now you're trying to stuff your body full of the stuff to help you not be sick no more. But the consistency of making it a lifestyle, like to live an alkaline life, it becomes a lifestyle. I mean, to me personally, I don't think it's just something that you pick up because of the moment. You're only going to do it for this little bit of moment to help you get through this thing, and then now you're back, but it's a lifestyle change. And I hope that from this conversation, people take away from that. Like, you're going to have to make the tough decision about changing your life. And also, we know that people eat based on their pocket. Right, so processed foods always be the cheapest stuff on the shelf, right, and all of these different things. So for people to be able to fight through that is what I think is so important about learning from people like you, is about your diet. Because listen, y'all, I mean, just because it's cheap, it doesn't mean you're supposed to eat it. And let's be real, like I don't know if our bodies was made to eat as much as we eat anyway. The 3 meals a day.
Look at the calf. It stops drinking milk after how long? A couple of months? The calf stops feeding off of its mother and goes to grain. But we're drinking milk every day. What are we missing here? What are we missing here? We put our babies on artificial milk, but we don't give them our breast. What are we missing here? And it's like, when you say that it's a diet, no, it's your life. You have put your life conveniently in the hands of other people and not taking it back yourself. So you should be sick, and you should be sick and tired of being sick. Once you realize that you love yourself and you start to take that power back, you realize you become more confident. You have less anxiety. You have more knowledge about yourself, and you are more powerful.
Yes. Yeah. And you get other things work for you too, right? Like you sleep better, right? From whenever you're in that position, and you perform better in all other aspects, and I think that's the most important, is your performance, because regardless of what you do for a life or a living, however that works, if you're in any type of space where it's physical, your body's performance, it means something, right? To be able to have it at its most optimal peak, to be able to perform for you. Age is not the deciding factor of how much you can do as your life grows. I've always understood the difference between milk and wine, right? We say the older wine gets, the better it gets.
Mm-hmm.
And we notice that that happens too for certain people, right? Like the older you get, the better you look. Some people, some women out here and men, you know what I'm saying, in that position in their 40s and up look better than the people that's 20 years old right now. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because they have taken the opportunities to say, I'm going to learn, I'm going to reverse what I've learned. And which is one of the biggest things that people don't want to take accountability for, is to unlearn what you already learned to learn something new, right?
Yeah.
How many of us has told that, when you get a certain age, you're gonna have to start unlearning. Like nobody ever tells us that. They only tell us that what you know, and you keep going off of that. They don't tell you that, when you get to a certain place, you're gonna have to unlearn everything you knew before. And about your health is number one, because you know what the first thing people do? They go get some NyQuil. They go get Vicks and rub that all over their chest. They go do all of these things that people have known to do to help them get through. Versus, like you said, Google what I put in my stuff. Like
Yeah,
go,
but it's a lack of knowledge. It's a lack of
yeah,
knowledge. I mean, they weren't teaching this on a wide platform like social media is now. So, we do have to forgive ourselves. There's no judgment here. There's just conversations. And it's like, okay, so now that we know, what's the move forward for us individually? Baby steps. Baby steps. We can't eat the whole elephant in one bite. Baby steps. It's just
facts.
like we definitely want to make sure that we tie in and start to think. If we want a different reaction or a different level of understanding, you'll have to change the direction you're going. And you got to be okay with that. And that's growth. So the question is, are you ready to grow? Sebi's Daughters is always going to
Mm,
be where you can come back to. We want you back. We want you to stay when you're ready. But it has to be your journey.
right. Which is important. You have to make those choices. You have to
Yeah.
self-assess, and you have to be willing to go that extra mile for yourself. And,
Yeah.
like you said earlier, your children and your children's children too will move according to, based on how you raise them up. And you wasn't forced into this. Well, I mean, I guess you had to work. I mean, that I don't
No, it was a
understand if that was
choice.
forced.
No,
Yeah.
I could have been a killer. I could have been
Yeah. Nah,
I
you
could have I could
listen,
have
come
been
on.
a couple of different things, but
Yeah.
I chose to do this because it was something that I loved about my father. It was something that inspired me about my walk with him, but it's also the love for people. And I've kept that my whole life. And my parents taught me how to love my neighbor. And so, with that being said, I just really feel like this is the way I show it because I don't have much time on this earth. I want to make sure that what I'm doing is positive for me and someone else. That's how I want to be remembered. I don't want to be remembered for all the negative things that I hear out there. It's easy to be negative, but it's hard to stand up and tell the truth because, a lot of people can't. They don't know it inside of themselves, but I know it inside of myself. And then through Sebi's Daughters, I want to love and educate. That's basically what I want to do because when I see him again, he's going to ask me what I did and I'm going to tell him the
Mm.
truth.
And he gonna love it too.
That's what's
Because
up.
he gonna love it because he see it. I mean, he's a real ancestor right now. I mean, there's been a lot of study about your father through certain circles that, of course you would never be privy to those conversations because you're not, that's not how life goes. And I know for me, it's been a real long journey with studying, just everything about what he meant, even from the guy in Mexico that first gave him his first dose of helping him to heal and what he had to go through, what forced him to say, yo, I'm about to go. Because we all know when it comes to us as men, when that thing stopped working, oh, we going to figure out a way to get it back popping again. right? And to know that was one of his main reasons why he figured out how he gonna heal everybody else was like, yo, I got to get it back popping again. And and that's it. Because for some of us, it take that. You know what I'm saying? It take for you to be able to understand, hey, if you don't use that no more, you crazy. I'm gonna put myself in position, right? To be in positions. So yeah, sometimes it take that type of motivation in order for you to change your circumstances, right? Some people gotta catch the flu. Some people gotta, you know what I'm saying? For them before they be like, you know what?
Yeah.
I gotta do something about this because I'm not about to go out bad like this. I'm not about to have this type of scenario be what y'all look at me for. I'm about to get back popping. So yeah. So this is what we want to do before we get out of here, because I want to be respectful of your time. I want you to be able to tell the audience about how they can get your products, how they can learn more about Dr. Sebi's daughters, or even for you, like if you have any literary work out there, any books, any of that type of stuff, where people can understand that not only is it their body, but their mindset has to be aligned as well, so you can continue this fight. This is the time to let them know.
Well, the first thing you can do is go to sebisdaughters.com. And you will find all the information there on how to contact us, all the products. It is front loaded with information, alkaline diet that you can download for free. Some of the things that I share on my platform when I deal with individual clients are all listed on the Kellie Bowman on Instagram as well. You'll find us on Facebook. You'll find us in a couple of places. We have our own app, Sebi's Daughters app. So however you want to tie in, but just keep tying into nature. Keep asking the right questions, because your life is important.
There it is. And for those of y'all that's watching, if y'all wondering why Gloria ain't saying nothing now, what she has been saying stuff, y'all just can't hear it. It's because you're having a few little technical difficulties today, but nonetheless, she still is here. She still showed up, and she's in the building.
We love you, Gloria.
Yeah, no doubt. And for those of you that may know Gloria, y'all be like, this is the most I ever seen her not say nothing. Just know it's a technical difficulty going on. All right, y'all? It's not because she ain't want to say nothing. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, what I want all of you guys out there doing that's watching, I want y'all to make sure that I like I told y'all, I was so anxious to have this conversation because, like I said, I talk about this all the time. Health is wealth. Nobody's coming to save us. We're gonna have to do what we have to do to take care of ourselves. And listen, your children are important. I know a lot of y'all like to live your life vicariously through other things, but listen, your children are important. They're being jabbed and stabbed with so many different things. You guys have to know how to help balance your children out. We've got so many things out there that are against us, right? So we have to be for us. And I'm so thankful for today's guest, so thankful for Gloria, and for the rest of y'all. Y'all know the vibes. Each and every time that we throw up Convo Corner, it's going to be that thing. Because like I said, although the world look at them as celebrities, because look, we ain't talk about none of Kelly's stuff that she really do, because she outside. I don't want y'all to look at her and think that she's still in the kitchen like she was when she was 12 and 13 years old. She might be in the kitchen, but she outside. Let me tell y'all, the people that she talking about, them clients, they got her outside. So trust me, if y'all gonna ask questions, she the person to ask the question too. Please follow her, y'all. Keep up with all the stuff that she got going on. Social media, it costs you nothing to like, share, and comment on her stuff. Help move it through the algorithm, okay, y'all? That is something that even if you can't afford her products, you can afford the information. If you can do it, move it around. You never know how it'll come back for you. Just be one of those. All right. So Kelly, don't go nowhere. Gloria, don't go nowhere. After the outro, we're gonna talk outside of that. But for the rest of y'all know the vibes. We're gonna be here each and every week. Convo Corner. Y'all stay fly out there. And just remember, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. So until next time, peace.
Let's roll. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah. She's so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah. She's so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. She give me